I'm not too sure about that.
Okay.
Watch the space.
Okay. So that then talks about the fact that you have leanings through your mother to the governing NDC. First of all, tell us about the case and you tell us whether your mother is indeed NDC as he claims.
I didn't only mention my mom, he just mentioned my dad as well.
Your parents.
I don't know what he knows about the constituency. I'm told well, I was born there. I'm not sure whether he was born there. My understanding is that he came there some 7 years or so ago. So it's quite surprising that he's able to tell me about my parentage. But let's deal with the interesting bit first. Yes, of course. After the election, the main election, of course, after the votes had been counted all over the places. Under the rules, there has to be collation, and so we went to the collation center. But I observed something which I didn't think was quite right. So I thought we could start straight away from there. The other thing is, we Muslims, we always say that, well, alhamdulillah, some of these things, you don't know why, but, somehow the Almighty, in his own wisdom, he knows how he deals with some of these things. I wasn't well at all on the day of the election, so my strength was really not even 50%. We'd been traveling all over the world with the president. Just before the election, we went to the Commonwealth Health Officer, Pacific. We went all over the place. Thereafter, a few travels. But I think I was down with something I couldn't put my finger on. So I wasn't particularly good. But I realized that there were certain things going on. For example, we couldn't locate some of the ballot boxes. Eventually, we found them behind a certain clinic at Dompase, what do you call it? Whatever it's got a name, I will remember. Clinic, that's where they found a couple of the boxes, ballot boxes. And we expected Katie Hammond to handle that calmly, but as I said, I wasn't very good, and you got to show leadership so that your followers, your lieutenants, they can charge into action. But I calmed them down because, as I said, I myself wasn't feeling particularly good. But I complained to the officer, the district electoral officer, that a few things quite untoward are going on here. So. They got to deal with it. She was a new one who had been transferred to the constituency and, for that matter, the district. She wasn't sure. The NDC is, when it gets to some of this, you see how they behave. It was getting riotous. And so I think she was considerably intimidated. And so she said she had put some calls to Kumasi and all of that. So. I thought it was important. So I went back home and then put it in writing. The difficulties I had, the challenges, the things that I didn't think were right. I put them in writing and asked her to deal with them. I went back home because, as I said, I was facing the challenges that I've indicated. I wasn't feeling good. All the shouting was going on in the background. Of course, 24 years, they would want to see the back of me, the NDCs would want to see the back of me, not necessarily the MPPs, but the NDCs. So they were chanting, they were doing whatever they were doing. So I went back home. A few things happened subsequently. He talks about a lawyer not filing the suit by myself. It was filed in my name. But lawyers will tell you that it's not a good practice to pursue matters in which you have personal interest by yourself. Our training, you expect your colleagues to take the matter on your behalf. And he makes a scandalous suggestion that I asked someone whose name was not even registered on the bar list or the quite didn't understand. There's a person who was my classmate who left university and law school the same year. I don't know what he was talking about. He's been in practice for close to 35, 40 years. So I don't know. But so we filed a petition, but a few things went wrong. And then the calculation of the 21 days went awry. And the reason I think was because of how the Electoral Commission produced two different sets of Gazette dates. I think there was a bit of confusion. So when I pressed, realized that the very day where I was in my friend's office, that was the 21 days. It wasn't, but there were a few things I'd read. I thought, listen, we could deploy those cases and see if things would work. So we filed. Anyway, he's talking about not being a litigant. Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm a trained lawyer. That's my bread and breakfast, and so I'm not afraid of litigation. So we decided to litigate. But as I said, along the line, because of what I had indicated to you, principally because of the 1 day, few hours factor, I thought might not look very good on me if the matter was pursued. So I'd asked them to, I think, discontinue. But look, this is where we are. He was throwing his weight about, shouting from the rooftops. He was quite happy. But if he wasn't afraid, he thought he was a full champion. I asked him, where was he when we were trying to serve him?
Was he running away?
He was running away all over the place. He was running helter-skelter. We couldn't find him. When I was in Parliament, any time anybody wanted to serve as process on me, I directed them to come to Parliament. Some of them, I asked them to leave the documents with the maid's room. Tell them, Katie Hammond says, take it on his behalf. Because I was never afraid. If there's any reason why I got to go to court, I go. Some parliamentarians have cloaked themselves over this whole issue about constitutional immunity, and you don't want to receive any. What is that? If you're not afraid of anything, and this I still tell my colleagues, because I was telling them, and I think, be a man. When anything comes up and you have to be in court and defend yourself, show up. Don't run and seek the cover of the constitutional provision about what you are. It's a difficult, it's a cacophonous, amorphous situation. It's difficult to handle. When you are going to, one occasion I asked the speaker, define for us. What is it that you are on your way to court? You are on your way from Parliament. You are not on your way Saturdays and Sundays or what? So the issues. We went on and on and on. We went to Kwansrem, wherever I'm not sure where he lives now, but where he stays or whatever. Because I've told you, 8 years, we don't know him particularly. So in the end, it was left to the court to make an order for substitute service for him to be served. He had to be served through his mobile phones, and that's what happened. So even in the end, he's trumpeting all the kind of the antics that you saw in front of the court. It agitates me. But yes, for now, yes, he has been. He has been. What has he been? He has been mentioned by the Electoral Commissioner as the winner of the result. But that's fine, But don't. You may get. Again, he was frightened. He was frightened when he realized that I was going to court. So was okay.
Understand why?
Well, I guess he would understand why. Because. Those boxes, what were they doing? What were those boxes doing? The boxes were hanging at Lobito, what's the name? Lobito, at the clinic. Is that where we voted? He was telling me, you heard it in the script, that he said I was complaining that some of my pink sheets and all that. Just have a look at some of the pink sheets. Some of the pink sheets are still sitting there. Look at Tipex inks and all those. It was crazy, a kind of a mess that actuated our election in so-called on this occasion. It was beyond description. I thought I should contain myself. You see, there again, that's why I said the Muslims, we always say that, God in his own way. And when it even came to it, I want to go to court. Look at it again. Through a very experienced lawyer, I still missed the day by one. So you can't take this thing for granted. But I accept it, that it isn't meant to be, not to proceed by this way. That is fine. But it's for Christ's sake. Don't go out there and try to describe my progeny and talks about their political affiliation, and it's crazy. Tell him to stay away from this kind of language. During the campaign, I didn't talk about him. Number one, I didn't know him. I mean, for all the years that, at the time of the election, I would have been 64 years. For all my 64 years, I didn't know him. One day, because they told me he didn't come from there, nobody knew him. He had been there as a teacher, I think primary school teacher. Something happened. He wasn't any longer. I think it was something happened. He wasn't a teacher anymore. I was told that he became a secretary also of the NDC party or treasurer. Something along the line happened, and then you know what I mean. And then a few kind of things. I wasn't keen. I didn't think I was going to come to a level of competing with him and all this. It was one election that there wasn't any personal animosity, because as I said, I didn't know him. So I stayed away. I talked about politics. But he should be careful. He did not win the election on merit. The NDC won the Asokwa election by default.
What went wrong?
Well, that's what I mean by default. Our MPP, look, up to today, when our MPP people talk about the NDC, this and that, I say, come on, leave the NDCs alone. For whatever reason, we, the MPP, we decided to hand over power on a silver platter. That's what we did. And so he didn't win. I had close to 19,000 the last time around. They had, I think, 12 or 13 the last time. By our calculations, we're going to make 20,000. Somehow, and I've been telling the whole world, during the time of the voting, the very last few hours, I was going around, and my people were hanging around. They were literally hanging around. Listen, you guys, aren't you going to cast your vote? Come on, you go on. We come. What do you mean by go? You will come. What time? We don't have the time. 2 more hours. You go on. We will vote. We will vote. Look, if you don't vote, the NDC is the little number that they want. They would win. It's a matter of numbers. So if we aren't going to vote and we're hanging around, they would win. That's what he got. He got his original NDC numbers. And for his own information, quite a few of the NDCs voted for me because of what they were telling me. But of course, the good percentage, the winning percentage of MPP, they stayed at home. They didn't vote for him. And then this must be crystal clear to him. So this whole business about they are dashing him money. Yeah, but they're dashing that. Tell him to stay away from this kind of is it loose talk or cheap talk or whatever. You should stay away. I'm not completely in retirement. It's good to come back to my law books. To sharpen a few things. But I'm not in retirement, if that's what he thinks. In any event, as I said to you, watch this space. They went in there. The judge. I'm not too upset with the judge. The first occasion. Again, some mix-up. There wasn't any attendance by the lawyers. I'm told there was a cost awarded also. You can understand when you file your case, and it's a high court, then the judge, I think, graciously gave some extra time, gave us some time, agenda matter to another date for us to. At this stage, I had made my mind up that because of the legal impediment, probably discontinue. I told my lawyers. I'm not sure they have still dealt with it, to the extent that, as I talked to you, who was the person who pointed me to what was it? I didn't know what had happened. I asked my colleague, what had happened? Somebody was supposed to go to court, what happened, the applications, and I still don't know officially what we're talking about. This discussion is only based on what is in the papers. So, and I'm told that the judge awarded 60,000 or so. Well, I'm appealing. And now you should know that this time I'm appealing in my own right. I would put my own signature. I'm appealing as the appellant in person. I'm not going to go to any lawyer. I'll do it. So, yeah, no, the cost of that. If you draw your case, you can't go and appeal. But the cost of 60,000, I think it's completely unfair. It's not, it's not arbitrary. Or of course, it's not arbitrary. There are rules within which the judge exercises discretion. And so, if it is this high, you can appeal. So I would appeal. I'm sure the Court of Appeal would. Well, that's not for me to determine. It's for the court in its own discretion. What I'm definite about is that the court would agree that it was on the Harbour side.
Right. Did you cause your lawyers to withdraw?
That's what I was saying. There was actually an application on my authority for them to withdraw. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was based on that application that.
So he said it. His lawyer had told him that they weren't even going into the merits, but he delved into the merits that I said this and that because obviously he doesn't understand. He confessed that he doesn't belong to the profession, so he doesn't appreciate what we're talking about. But I was making all these points. What were those boxers doing at the Benito, as a hospital, as a clinic, Benito, at Opase? Was that where we voted? He said that I've been saying that I lost some of my pictures. Now he thinks I've found it. Well, we found the boxes at Benito, where we'll be voting at that hospital. So this is the kind of thing that, and all the bits that I've just explained. It just happens that one day, look, this is a technical. You missed out on whatever it is. That is it. So he has been there for 6 months now. I keep on getting calls. You know what they call the buyer's regret. A lot of things are going on in Asokwa. And well, come on, just yesterday I was to supply electricity to make sure that some electricity, make sure that this is. It's as if KTM is not sitting in chambers, as if I'm still the person on the ground there. It's atrocious. Go there and check. He should be focusing a bit more on those to see what he can do. And then
we expect to come back from you.
We'll deal with that later. But I've told you, watch the space. That's as much as I can go. Watch the space. You see. So look at some other statements he's making. People are fed up and what? Look, if for 24 years, people of Asokwa were able to vote for me, you 2 minutes, you stand at the door of the court and proclaim to the whole world that people are fed up and they're giving you money because you are the champion, whatever. The reason for that is because I single-handedly have developed that constituency. Every single development project since 2001, January, when Kufuor came to power, has been under my superintendence. Well, from when the NDC was in government and we were in opposition, and when we were in government, it has been me. One single exception, let somebody point out to me. So you think they are not proud of me? It just saddens my heart that my MPP. But then again, it was a kind of ailment that afflicted the whole country. It was all over the country. Whatever reason, they were very upset, and in the upset, this didn't happen. So he shouldn't claim any. Part of his demeanor was fine. He was talking about what the lawyers have told him. But what upsets me is that when he delved into my parentage and my mother and my husband, I've got a battalion in the NDC. Some of my very, very good friends are in the NDC, but it's not a party that I want to belong to. I can pronounce names. There is a KTM battalion in the NDC from high up to low. They are there, but I don't have that political inclination, the philosophy. It's not that one. You tell me my mom. I wouldn't give the details, but when I first came to this country to contest, I was told what my mom had. She didn't tell just the people around, but openly what my mom was supposed to have said about the dichotomy between the two contesting principal parties, the MPP and the NDC. I wasn't here in Ghana when my mommy was supposed to have said that. I came and they tell me, your mother's piece. What? This is what your mom said. Well, of course she would say that, wouldn't she? This is my mom, I'm not sure I intend to give the details, but so this alien, quote or unquote, alien, 8 years or so in the constituency, you come in there to start telling your mommy was NDC, and it's completely unfair. Plain secret. Well, actually, you call it secret. Legon, a lecture friend told me, plain secret, but broad day secret. Who, tell me your mother's, I don't know about your mother's 31st December revolution, whose mom was not part of the Ajmakunedu organization? Everyone. My mom has never been the Timamuhunu type. she is focused. So those days, we are Legon during the election. Eventually, we started fighting the regime. But at least we were all supporting it. But after they had imposed themselves on the country, all the women were supposed to be part of the 31st December, whatever. My mom was part, just like whoever was there in Asokwa, they all part of the 31st December revolution. The women, anyway, quite happy. 31st, I heard they say things like 31st. I remember, what was it, 31st?